This is our Honors English 10 final project by Eva and Emma. This is how different people are responding to COVID-19. Our first source, John Krasinski, is best known for his role as Jim on The Office. He started a news show a few weeks ago to combat the negative effects of the coronavirus on people's mental health. John Krasinski's Some Good News focuses on spreading a positive message throughout this time of fear and hardship. In his segments, he talks about the amazing acts of kindness by ordinary people around the world. He thanks doctors, delivery workers, and other professions for staying strong and fighting the effects of COVID-19 by continuing to provide us services. Additionally, John Krasinski uses his connections in the world of Hollywood to bring in stars from a variety of different areas. A very good example of this was when he brought in the original cast of the famous Broadway musical Hamilton on live video to sing to a young fan who was forced to cancel her trip to see it in New York. This is a heartwarming gesture and is just one of the many examples of him being a very positive and motivating voice during this pandemic. John Krasinski uses pathos, or emotional appeal, throughout his segments, aiming to assuage the feelings of fear, anger, and discouragement we are feeling and to replace them with motivation, positivity, and confidence. Our second source comes from our own community. In addition to famous celebrities, politicians, and others showing their support for everyone affected by the spread of COVID-19, ordinary citizens have been making a difference in the world as well. In our own school, some students started a group called Grocery Gatherers. Peyton LaFrenz, a junior at our school, created the program. It is focused on helping the elderly and those who are most at risk, mostly those over 70 years of age. She explains that she started the program because she realized how expensive it is to have non-volunteer deliverers of groceries. She said, quote, "This is going to get worse before it gets better, so I'm kind of bracing myself for the need for services like this to drastically increase as people run out of supplies and the virus becomes more prevalent in the Twin Cities area," end quote. She describes the process of how to use the service through telephone or their website as well. She focuses on remaining optimistic and helping out the community as much as possible in this great time of need. She mostly uses logos to persuade her audience by logically explaining how they are going to help and why it is necessary. The group also uses ethos by speaking confidently about their plan and how everything will play out to a news source. Our third source is President Trump. He addresses the people of the United States about the coronavirus. He talks a lot about the source of the virus in Wuhan, China, and about the shortcomings of the Chinese government in alerting the rest of the world about the outbreak. He also talks of China's failure to contain the spread of COVID-19 to the rest of the world. He tries to reassure us that we will push through this pandemic together and be successful in this time of hardship. He uses logos, giving us facts about the virus. In the U.S., about 1.85 million people have been confirmed cases of COVID-19, and over 100,000 people have died. He uses pathos as he pushes anger towards China and its government, while also trying to assuage fear and panic from the minds of Americans everywhere. Lastly, President Trump uses ethos to establish credibility. He references other nations' leaders and their stances on the issues he is talking about. He especially uses the Chinese leader Xi Jinping.
Everyone has been affected by COVID-19, especially scientists. They are the ones responsible to help find a treatment and who people look to first for any questions or information about the virus. One such scientist is Sumit Chanda, an infectious disease expert and director of Stanford Burnham's Prebiotics Immunity and Pathogenesis program. Sumit's perspective is mostly on how he and the other scientists are trying to find possible treatments for COVID-19. He uses logos with his facts and logic. Instead of trying to create a new drug, which could take up to 10 years, he's using a method called drug repositioning. In other words, he's looking to find known drugs that can inhibit the virus. This wouldn't just cut the development time dramatically, but the FDA-approved drugs could get to the infected people rapidly. He also uses ethos since he is the director of Stanford Burnham's Prebiotics Immunity and Pathogenesis program, as well as supported by other credible people. He has also worked with other diseases such as influenza, HIV, Ebola, and more. Last but not least, our final source is Helen Klebesital. Helen is a visual artist and art mentor. After noticing that some of her students were feeling isolated and afraid, she set up a Facebook group called the Cabin Fever Creative Community. She created this so that people could share the work that they were making while quarantined. Helen is trying to convey a message of positivity and connection during the pandemic. She wants everyone to remain hopeful. Additionally, she wants to encourage and support people's art and use this as a time for inspiration. Helen decided to use her extra time to store or finish projects that she's been wanting to do for a while. She said she will use this time to finally finish setting up an online watercolor workshop that she has been thinking about for 5 years. She uses mostly pathos and communicates emotions such as contentment, excitement, joy, and an overall enthusiastic appearance in order to help promote her message. She wants her audience to feel the same way she does.